Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lise LeBlanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and in today's video, I'm talking about things that a man would need to hear from a female covert narcissist after a breakup to help him resolve cognitive dissonance and break the trauma bond. I will also explain why never in a million years will you ever hear these admissions from your narcissistic ex. Also, I want to give special thanks to the anonymous contributor who shared his insights about his experiences with a female covert narcissist. I've adapted and included many of his reflections in this video, which, by the way, is part 1 of 2. Part 2 will be posted next week, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell. So number 1 would be for them to recognize their toxic relationship patterns. So in this ideal imaginary world where a narcissist could see themselves as they are, they might say something like, "In the beginning of our relationship, I love and sex bombed you like I have done with all of my past partners. I made you believe that you were the love of my life, my soulmate, the one and only, and I wanted to believe this too. But deep down, I knew that it was all part of my toxic relationship patterns and that all you would ever get from me was an inescapable nightmare. The truth is, I have a proven track record showing time and time again that I am incapable of an honest and authentic relationship. I just don't feel love like others do. So try to understand that I am pre-programmed to see myself as a victim and destroy you when you inevitably fail to meet my unrealistic expectations. It is a tragic cycle, and I hope you can find a way to see it for what it is and break free from the illusion that I could ever provide the genuine connection and love that you deserve. Don't let your addiction to me ruin your future opportunities to be happy." Okay, so although this is obviously hypothetical, such an admission would be helpful because it would make you realize that a narcissist's behavior is not personal, but rather part of a consistent and destructive pattern. In reality, they never admit to their toxic patterns, even if they were aware of them, because this would require them to face uncomfortable truths about themselves that challenge their facade of perfection and superiority. So the important thing to remember is that their inability to sustain a genuine, healthy relationship is a result of their disorder and has little, if anything, to do with you. This understanding can help you detach from any lingering self-blame, stop the rumination and wishful thinking, and allow you to move forward with your life. Number 2 is admitting their self-centered nature. So in this fantasy world, it would be very healing to hear something like, "Once you were addicted to me, I had you where I wanted you. You'd do just about anything to get my love and approval. I just had to pull away, express disappointment, make you feel guilty, or pull on your empathy strings, and you'd jump at the opportunity to cater to the relentless demands of my 5 indulgent selves: selfishness, self-absorption, self-centeredness, self-importance, and self-service. I was always happy to take and receive with an air of entitlement, but then I'd conveniently dismiss your needs and disappear when it was time to give in return." Of course, a narcissist will never admit this in reality because it would completely shatter their helpless victim identity and threaten their ability to control you. It's important to understand that a narcissist's behavior is rooted in a deep-seated need to manipulate and dominate others. Their actions are designed to sustain their own self-esteem, reduce their anxiety, and fulfill their needs and desires without any regard for you or your well-being. Number 3 would be to acknowledge their lack of empathy. Here you might need to hear something like, "Just for a moment, I will try my best to sincerely put myself in your shoes and try to imagine what it must have felt like to be strung along for such a long period of time in such a chaotic and one-sided relationship. Oh, but wait, I can't feel any empathy towards others, especially men that I'm romantically involved with. Of course, I'm good at acting like a caring, self-aware, spiritual, and highly empathetic person in order to keep my mask of vulnerability intact, but in truth, any empathy I do genuinely feel is reserved for me, myself, and I. So, the reason you will never hear any of this from a narcissist is because acknowledging these things would require them to confront the false image they have of themselves and the endlessly misunderstood victim identity that they have. So it is helpful to understand that a narcissist either doesn't have the capacity for empathy and they don't feel guilt or remorse for what they are doing to you. Number 4 would be to apologize for their lies, deceit, and abusive behavior. So this might sound something like, I admit that I lied and deceived you the entire time of our relationship. When you attempted to confront me about my behavior, I resorted to a series of defense mechanisms to avoid accountability and maintain your loyalty to me. But the truth is, I never had any loyalty to you. I saw you as replaceable, disposable, as a servant who would let me get away with anything as long as I could get you to buy into my intricate web of lies and cover-ups. You didn't deserve to be treated so badly, but because of my disorder, I easily justified my actions, telling myself I was simply protecting myself from your attacks. Now, obviously, a narcissist is not going to own up to their deceitful ways, which sometimes are instinctive defense mechanisms, and other times they're simply malicious and self-serving. But intentional or not, learning about the narcissist's web of deception can help you see the relationship for what it was, a dynamic built on deceit rather than on love. And above all else, it can help you realize that your loyalty and sense of obligation were misplaced. And the best thing to do now would be to break free from the psychological hold that your narcissistic ex has on you and invest in your own well-being and healing. Number 5 would be admitting that they gaslighted you. So in this make-believe world, the narcissist would say something like, yes, I manipulated situations to confuse you and make you doubt yourself, to make sure that my needs were always prioritized over yours, and to always maintain control over your mind and your emotions. I often made you feel like you were at fault, even when you were right. Sometimes I secretly mess with your things and your important documents to make you think you were losing your mind. Sometimes I smiled and acted like everything was fine while seething under the surface and quietly plotting against you. Any gaslighting on my part, of course, was subtle and sneaky. But I wish I could have realized how harmful it was for you to be on the receiving end of this kind of constant gaslighting, where you would accurately lay out the facts of a situation, and yet I could still not admit that you were right. It's in these moments when my pathological need to protect my ego and maintain my sense of superiority would override reality and lead me to deny or distort the truth. Obviously, fat chance that you'd ever hear a narcissist admit that they were gaslighting you. And there are many reasons why they wouldn't do this, including their lack of insight, their need to preserve their flawless self-image, and their deep desire to avoid accountability for their actions. So instead of admitting that they gaslighted you, they will continue to deny, and find people to triangulate and support their distorted narrative. Okay, so please stay tuned for part 2 of this video, which I will be releasing next week.